How to create an invoice for a private hire job on the Don't Travel Empty Coach Records module. Remember, everything for the Coach Records module stems from the Manage tab, and when you hover over it, then you need to scroll down and come to the new section, the Sales Ledger, and click on the Sales Ledger. Now, because we're creating an invoice, we need to go to Add a New Invoice. And once we've clicked on that and we're taken through to the Create a New Invoice page, section 1 is obviously choosing the particular customer for whom the invoice is for. So once you start typing the customer's name, they appear from a drop-down box. You choose them by clicking on them, and then it auto-fills with their details. Now, every single job that is currently confirmed and in the system for that particular customer are now displayed, whether it be a private hire job, contracts, whatever it is, are displayed here, and you can scroll through them and choose which of the jobs you'd like to put onto the invoice. Now, if there's loads and loads and loads of jobs for a particular customer and you can't find them, or there's too many of them to scroll through sensibly, then you can filter by typing in the destination town of the particular job that you want to invoice for. Or if a job has gone, say, on the 1st of April, you simply click on here and you choose the 1st of April. You click on here and choose the 1st of April. You update, and then only jobs that went or travelled on the 1st of April or will be travelling on the 1st of April, if it's in the future, will be displayed, making it much easier for you to choose. Now, we'll cover invoicing contracts in another tutorial, but it's worth bearing in mind that any job from the invoice page that has a single box to the left here is a private hire job, and any job that has two boxes next to it is a contract. Okay, so we'll focus just on private hires for this invoice, and when you click this box here, it adds the particular job that has now been highlighted to the invoice. If you want to just invoice for one job, obviously you just click that particular job. If you want to invoice for multiple jobs, then you can click as many as you like, and the total just keeps going up and up and up. And they will all appear on the invoice individually so that the customer can see what jobs they've been invoiced for. Now, we'll only invoice for one job on this particular invoice. VAT is there for operators or Don't Travel Empty members who may run taxis or 8-seaters where VAT is chargeable. So if you click that box, if you needed to, it adds VAT at the standard rate. And if you unclick it, it doesn't. Section 3 is free invoice data, and on occasion you may need to add to an invoice an additional charge that isn't covered from the actual journey, and you do so here by clicking on this little box here and typing in the reason for the additional charge. Ferry crossing is an obvious one here. You type in the amount of the subcharge, and if you wanted to add VAT, you click the same box and then it adds the VAT and it adds the two totals together. So this particular invoice will now total £1,060, and they are displayed so the customer knows exactly what they're being charged for. Now, the invoice date always defaults to the day that you're actually working on. It may be that you want to retrospectively do an invoice that went on a day in the past, perhaps, or a day in the future, and you can do so here. Some customers like to have a purchase order number, and you can put that in here. You'll have different payment terms for every customer. We'll put in here payment terms of 7 days. You may want to put in 30 days, payment on to the driver on the day, payment in advance, whatever it may be. And then the payment date you put in here. So if we're saying 7 days, the payment date, if my maths is correct, will be on the 11th. Notes, you can put in there things like IBAN numbers and SWIFT numbers if you're working for continental customers. And when you save that, it will create the invoice. You can see it's created invoice number 1091, and you can create a PDF which you can print off, and it has all the information on it, and then you can send that to your customer. You can scroll down, you can see all the information. Log payment will cover in another tutorial as well. The jobs that have been invoices, you can see clearly here now with the additional charge. And if you need to at a later date, you can come back and edit that invoice for whatever reason and change information on it if you need to. Now, it's also worth bearing in mind that you can still create an invoice in a very, very quick fashion by going to Manage, coming to Private Hires, as I just did, and then all the private confirmed jobs that are in here are displayed for you. And we'll just take this one as random. And if you click over the download and come down and click invoice, it will open up an invoice for you, and you'll come and see that it's now been invoiced. Now, if we just make a note of that job, which is on the 4th of the 3rd, going from North Walsham to London for Michelle Marrett, and now we go back to the sales ledger and we go to search invoices, and the customer was Michelle Marrett. So we start typing the name into there, and then we search for that particular customer. Then we can see that invoice number 1092 has now been created in the sales ledger. And if we clicked on that, it would open up the PDF, which we could print off and post. From the private hires page, we could email that to them as well. And that has created the invoice in a quick fashion. Now, having created it in a quick fashion, you can still go back and view the invoice, and you can go back and you can edit the invoice if you wish to. It's just two separate ways. One, the first way is to give you more control over the number of jobs that you put into an invoice and the additional charges. The second way we just looked at was a very quick and easy way, but it still adds it to the sales ledger. Okay.